What is up, Binge Squad? It's your girl, the Binge Queen here, and today we're going to be talking about theories that I may have about the Legend of Vox Machina. So far, I've only seen the first 3 episodes, but I have so many ideas, thoughts, theories on what may happen, and I just figured I'd share my thoughts with you guys and see if maybe we have some in common. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and stay tuned for my reaction to episodes 4, 5, and 6 coming this week. Okay, so the first order of business is discussing these love connections, because I've been seeing a little spice here and there from a few of these characters. There's a lot of tension, between some of these characters, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about these love connections. So first, I will start with the most obvious love connection that we see on there, which is Keyleth and Vax. Honestly, I feel like they like each other, but they just, they don't do it like that because they're just a little shy. Well, Keyleth seems like she's shy, but Vax doesn't really seem shy, but like Vex is always on his back. Like when they have like little Keyleth and Vax moments, Vex is always like she talking to her man or something. I'm just like, sis, like I know that's your brother, but chill, because it's almost starting to give a little bit of like a brother-sister love vibe, like a little more than brother and sister, if you know what I mean. I feel like Pike has a little bit of a crush on Vax. Looks like Scanlan likes Pike. That's what I'm getting from that. He did ask Pike to go to the little like dinner or whatever in episode 3 with him. I go back and forth on whether I think Pike likes him back, but I definitely think Scanlan likes Pike, which is just funny because he's always hooking up with everybody, but like he actually does have a crush on someone. So yeah, that was interesting. I feel like Vex likes Percy. I don't know, like maybe they're just really close and that's why she was like so there for him during the party or whatever, because obviously he was noticeably upset when he saw Silas and Delilah walk in. So I don't know, maybe she was just being a good friend, but I could sense like maybe like a budding spark there. That's just a little wishful thinking, I guess. I want her to find love so she can leave Vax alone. So now that the crushes are out of the way, let's move on to theories of the storyline. One scene in particular that caught my eye was in episode 2 when they went to go chase after Krieg. When they ran into the lair, there was a rug on the floor, and the rug had 5 dragons on it. There was a red one, a blue one, a black one, a green one, and a white one. So I feel like this show throws a lot of little hints here and there on like what will happen. It's just interesting that they're fighting a blue dragon, and then when they go into the area that has a portal to the dragon's lair, there's a carpet on the floor with 5 different colored dragons, one of them being blue. And on top of that, Allura, when she was talking about her experience with dragons at the beginning of episode 2, she said the last dragon that she dealt with was a red dragon. I don't know like what the extent of the dragon's power is. I'm assuming that the blue dragon is electricity, so then like the red dragon would be like fire, you know what I mean? Like, and it's different elements for each one. I'm definitely feeling like there is 5 dragons in total, and I kind of also think that maybe the dragon spirit just transfers into a different host. Something I noticed when they made it into the dragon's lair in episode 2, and Krieg started talking about how there was a time when we, meaning dragons, ran the world or whatever. He was like, I wasn't expecting you to meet Brimside and still be cool. It sounded like he was referring to the dragon as if it wasn't him. So I feel like Brimside was the name for the dragon, so that's why I thought that the dragon may potentially be going from host to host. So if that's the case, Grog killed the dragon and was like, is it dead? Like, I was like, obviously it's dead, like its face is cut in half. But what if it's not dead? Like, what if the dragon spirit just passed from Krieg to somebody else, whoever's next in line? Or what if he had like healing abilities, which would be crazy, because even though his head was cut in half, he would still be able to come back to life. Like, as I'm discussing my theories out loud, like my mind is going even more. So sorry if I get a little off topic or I start rambling. Yeah, so I definitely think Allura is involved in this. Maybe she's not a dragon, technically, because if she was a dragon, then Vex'ahlia should have been able to tell. just like when Krieg was around. So maybe she's not necessarily a dragon. Maybe she's the one who leads the dragons. In the comments of my episode 3 reaction, Metaphors said Alora didn't even flinch when Grog busted the door open when she pulled up to their house. And that's actually a very valid point, because if she was just this little girl who, you know, was just all girly and just in the palace, then she'd probably be scared by that. But literally, like, the door hit the wall and she was just straight faced, like, and she has experience with dragons? This girl is freaking suspect, y'all, suspect. Another thing that I was thinking about too was when I saw how Silas was controlling Uriel's mind at dinner, you know, telling him not to send the troops or whatever. Then I started thinking, so what if Alora is mind controlling him? You know? I don't know about that, but that was definitely something that ran through my mind. Like, what if she's mind controlling people? Something else that I kind of thought of was Vex and Vax. They said that their mom was killed by a dragon, but they didn't say like what color it was or didn't identify it in any kind of way. So then that kind of had me thinking, like, it would be crazy if Vex and Vax were dragons, because how do they survive a dragon attack but their mom doesn't? Like, they haven't really gone into the story of like what exactly happened. I guess they're just gonna get into each person periodically. But what if Vex and Vax are dragons, y'all? What if it's like a two-headed dragon? Like, that would be wild. Lady Delilah and Silas? Sus. Vix Veneria, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, left me a comment on my episode 2 reaction of Vox Machina, saying that when Silas and Lady Delilah walk past the mirror, you can see Delilah, but you can't see Silas. And when I was watching those episodes, I kept thinking, this guy is a freaking vampire. Like, once they showed King Uriel's plate and he had steak, I was literally like, oh my god, that steak looks so good. And then 2 seconds later, they flashed to Delilah and Silas's steak, and that looked like it was rare, like medium rare or something. Like, they're eating raw meat basically. So that was sus. Even before the raw steak and Silas biting Vax's neck, I still thought that he was a vampire. He punched someone through the abdomen in like 0.2 seconds. There's definitely something going on with this guy. I didn't even see the mirror thing that Vix Veneria pointed out. So thank you for pointing that out, because that was a dead giveaway that I was right in thinking that Silas was a vampire. For a moment, I did think that maybe Delilah was a vampire as well. But when Vax jumped out of the window after Silas bit him, it was weird to me that Silas just jumped straight out the window after Vax, and he just landed, you know, on his feet like it was normal. But Lady Delilah, she kind of like did this kind of like magic teleportation thing, you know? That kind of threw me off. I was just like, okay, so we know you're not a vampire because we saw your reflection, but it definitely makes me feel like maybe she is a dragon. They're definitely doing something weird in their town. Like, why else would they go to a dinner specifically to convince the king, not convince him, mind control the king to make sure that they're not gonna send troops and that no one is gonna bother them? Suspect. Another reason why I thought Alora was controlling King Uriel is because at the end of episode 2, she told Vox Machina about the dinner. Well, that technically Uriel and Alora told them together, but when they were talking, they kept saying, oh, we hope you guys attend, da 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 da. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. But then once episode 3 came on, and then they said from Whitestone, Delilah and Silas, and Percy, his freaking face got all crazy. I feel like Alora knew that Percy was from Whitestone before they even invited them to the dinner. I mean, it didn't really seem like he was like necessarily hiding it, but I don't know. I feel like she invited Delilah, Silas, and Vox Machina on purpose so that they can have beef. And maybe like she had like some type of deal going on with Silas and Delilah. And maybe Alora doesn't have the mind control power. So that's why they had to come out to the dinner so that they could protect what was going on. Alora's in on it, so she made sure that Silas and Delilah were gonna be there so they could convince the king not to do it. Maybe they're building up an army, like a vampire army or something, and they have like a few dragons leading it. I don't know. It's also pretty obvious that Delilah and Silas are trying to bait Percy into coming. They literally said, you know, come anytime, like, you know where we're at. And maybe they were just trying to taunt him, but at the same time, it kind of seems like they have something going on the back end, you know what I mean? It was interesting that at the very first episode, you know, the king and them, they were all talking about how they wanted to find mercenaries to kill the dragon because, you know, they've sent everyone else. There really was no one else for them to call on. So what if they're like intentionally trying to draw Percy and them out so that they can kill them? And then they won't have anyone else to oppose them. And that leads me into my next point, because I know I wasn't the only one who was looking crazy as hell at the screen when Percy pulled out that freaking bird mask and started talking in a different voice like, "Sir, who are you?" He blew off that guy's fingers like, "Sir." It was a lot. I thought the mask looked interesting just for the fact that it reminded me of Fire Force, that guy, like doctor guy, I forget his name, but I'll find a picture and I'll insert it like right here. Another thing about the mask that I noticed after rewatching the episode while I was editing my videos is when Vax went into Silas and Delilah's room and, you know, they had that trunk, and he clicked the side of the trunk and it popped up with all this stuff. There were a few bones on the side of the chest, and there were like 3 regular bones, but then there was a bone that looked exactly like the shape of Percy's mask. So that makes me feel like they definitely have something in common. I'm not sure what exactly is going on, but it must be something having to do with Whitestone and his home. Like there must be some type of weird stuff going on. Just like when, you know, he switched from Percy to the black bird mask guy, this like black smoke started coming off of his body, and it kind of looked similar to like what Delilah had going on. I mean, she was purple, like purplish black though, and she also had that smoke. So Percy, like, what's going on, sir? Like, it's very strange. And now I feel like Percy is like, I don't want to say a traitor, but like, I don't feel like we can trust him all the way. But then again, I'm like, okay, Delilah and Silas did murder your whole family, and now you're by yourself in the world. So like, I get how that could be traumatic. But yeah, I'm just like, sir, like, what do you have going on? We've known you for a while and you've never mentioned anything. So what's the issue? So for the fact that he has that mask, the black smoke, and the fact that Delilah and Silas have that little bone that looks exactly like Percy's mask, that definitely makes me feel like they have something in common. And that black smoke, like, what the hell is that? I don't know, but it was weird. And the last like main thing that I noticed was in the fight in episode 3 when Delilah attacked Pike. She sent this almost like purple and black like shard of energy through her body. And when she did that, she hit Pike's necklace. So it broke, and I was like, okay, so does that mean she's not going to be able to like regulate her power? Does that mean she's not going to be able to use it? I don't know. So I was already thinking that once I saw the necklace break when those energy shards went through her. But right before that had happened, there was a close-up on Delilah's neck where she had a little like band, like kind of like a choker, and it had 3 stones in it, 1 big one and 2 on the sides. And it looked like before she released that shard of energy attack on Pike, it looked like the energy collectively gathered there in the neck. So the first thing I thought was, okay, if we break it, is she gonna be unable to use her power? Same thing with Pike. But then I remembered that when they were fighting Krieg in the 2nd episode, Krieg's energy was generating in his neck. You see where I'm going with this, right? You see where I'm going with this. So the fact that Krieg's energy was generating in his neck when he was in dragon form, and the fact that Delilah's energy was building in her neck, even in like her human form, makes me feel like Delilah is a dragon. She's not a vampire because we saw her reflection. She's definitely a dragon. Like, she's a dragon. So thinking back to the different colored dragons, I was gonna say that the black one looked closest to her, but her necklace was green. So maybe those green jewels mean that she's the green one. So at this time, I'm leaning towards green, but it's either green or black for Delilah. So yeah, I'm sorry if that was all over the place. I'm gonna try to edit it so that it makes more sense. But those are all my theories, and that's where I'm at right now. Today I plan on watching the next 3 episodes, so we'll see how good I did. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe on this video. If you have any theories or anything that you've been thinking, or if, you know, you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking and we're on the same page, go ahead and leave me a comment. But again, I am the Binge Queen, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
This instrument is so annoying.